Hello, I am Sabre Coble, and my husband Brian and I have 3 children. Brylan's 8, Fletcher is 6, and Knox is 4. Just like many of you can understand, they are the joy and the exhaustion of our days. When Sandy asked me to speak to you guys about what the Lord has been teaching me, I thought, oh, no big deal. God is talking to me all the time about great things. And then I began to panic, thinking I have no idea what to share with them because nothing presented itself in a nice, neat box. And then it hit me. This, in and of itself, was telling of the deep lessons the Lord is still trying to teach me about control. I've known for years that control is a struggle for me, but I thought I was making strides in this area of my life. Enter the year 2020. Any thought I had that I was improving and surrendering control to the Lord, or anyone else for that matter, was thrown out the window. The last year has made it extremely evident that I have zero control over anything, and just how desperately I long for it. But God is gracious, and He is now teaching me to look for Him amidst the uncontrollables of my life. So today I'd like to share with you how He is inviting me to join Him where He is already at work and to lean into the one place I do have some control. In a time that has made meeting new people and deepening young friendships very tricky, God has shown me the value of building into my marriage and discipling our children. For the past several years, I have been excited to see how the Lord might use me to make Himself known in this relatively new world of elementary school life. COVID-19 put an abrupt stop to all of the ways I thought God had been using our family to reach our neighborhood and our school. Then God reminded me, I have the ability to point others towards Christ within the walls of my own home. Ephesians 5:31-32 tell us that the relationship between a husband and wife is meant to illustrate the connection between the church and Jesus, in turn pointing others to Christ simply by loving my husband well. And our children, they have big questions and hearts that long to know more and need to be steered towards the one who can save. I have needed this time when ministry outside my home has seemed nearly impossible to be reminded of the gospel tasks at hand. Quite literally at hand, because it seems as though someone is always touching me. I still have a heart to show the women in our community God's love, but I now found myself content to follow God's leading and to join Him where He is moving instead of pushing my own agenda. The second thing God has been teaching me recently is to do my part, to take control of the one thing I do have control over, me. How am I stewarding my time, my mind, and my heart? When I spend my time growing in the Lord, I find I am better equipped to join God where He is at work in the lives around me. In 1 Samuel 17, David is preparing to fight Goliath, and Saul insists that he wear Saul's armor. But after David puts it on, he says, I can't walk in these because I'm not used to them. A good warrior trains for battle in his armor, so he feels comfortable using it once the fighting begins. God has provided us with armor to use as we walk through the battle of this life. Ephesians 6:10-18 says this. Finally, be strengthened by the Lord and by His vast strength. Put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against the tactics of the devil. For our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the world powers of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavens. This is why you must take up the full armor of God, so that you may be able to resist in the evil day. And having prepared everything, to take your stand. Stand, therefore, with truth like a belt around your waist, righteousness like armor on your chest, and your feet sandaled with readiness for the gospel of peace. In every situation, take the shield of faith, and with it you will be able to extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is God's word. Pray at all times in the Spirit with every prayer and request, and stay alert in this with all perseverance and intercession for all the saints. As I've reflected on this, I keep asking myself, am I training in the armor of God so I can confidently walk into battle with the weapons God has provided me? Or is my response, I can't walk in these because I'm not used to them? Raising young children is exhausting, but spending time with the Lord renews my energy and fills my cup. So as I ask myself these questions, I want to encourage you to do the same. Are you doing your part to prepare yourself to join God where He is already at work? As believers in this world, we will face battles, but God has provided us with all that we need, and by His blood, we are fighting from victory. While we don't have control over much, as mamas, we do help steer the ship in our families. So let's take the time to prepare ourselves for battle by seeking the Lord first in our lives. I want to end by reading you an excerpt from the book, The In-Between Place by Kat Armstrong. In this section, she is talking about the Hebrew word azer. It's Hebrew for helper. It's used 21 times in the Old Testament, 16 of those times to describe God Himself fighting a battle on our behalf. Some scholars think the word could be better translated warrior helper. It's the word used in Genesis to describe the creation of Eve as Adam's helper. For me, the word azer represents the faith legacy all women carry with them as strong, capable warriors for Christ. We are mamas, wives, daughters, and friends, but we are also warriors for the kingdom. So let's choose to do our part and be ready for battle.